Hey everyone, welcome back to the range. My name is Matt. Ho, ho, ho. Now I've got night vision. This little package came from NIJ's Night Vision. I haven't really set it up yet. I just took it out of the box to do this introduction video. But I've got an armor test for you all today. Recently we did our Spartan Armor Systems Hercules plate. Now today we've got their R.A.N.G.E, I'm pretty sure it's R.A.N.G.E Boron Carbide level 4 or RF4 plate to check out today. Our R.A.N.G.E is approximately 1.20 inches thick, or for our gentlemen across the pond, 30.50 millimeters. It weighs approximately 6 pounds right on the dot. It is multi-curved. You may be hard to see all those curves there, but it is multi-curve. I think the Hercules had more curves than this particular plate. My followers and subscribers are probably getting tired of me saying this, but if you're new to the channel and you happen across this in a search, I do things a little differently when it comes to demoing, testing, torture testing armor over on my channel. I'm very data driven, so I try to stick to as many NIJ constants as I can out here at my shooting range. So I shoot at 45 feet. That is the official NIJ testing distance for rifle armor. I shoot at 0 degrees because that is worst case for the armor. If you shoot at any oblique angles, that just increases the thickness that the bullet has to penetrate. Since this has a ceramic strike face, I've gone ahead per the NIJ and I drop it 2 times on its face as a preconditioning test. If you've been in the military or anything and been issued ESAPIs or ceramic armor, one of the tests to ensure your ceramic is good is to do like a torque test on it. And I'm not sure if you can hear that with the microphone or not. I'll shut up. But it sounds like I've possibly cracked the Boron Carbide strike face of this when I did my drop test. Now, as long as the adhesion between that ceramic layer and the backer is solid, that we're using good adhesive, those cracks should not affect performance. This plate does have drop face foam protectant on it, and one of their claims to fame is it does have edge-to-edge strike face. When we tore down the Hercules, we had full edge-to-edge ceramic strike face. I also use a chronograph, so I have that instant velocity feedback for a particular bullet that I'm shooting at it, so that you know if I say we're shooting M2AP at 2880 feet per second, that we're actually getting 2880 feet per second on that. A lot of the surplus ammunition will not hit that. I also use this giant clay briefcase you see here filled with Roma Plastilina #1 clay donated by Chavant. Now it's only 60 degrees outside today, so the clay is going to be firmer, so it's not going to give us a true representation of back face because the NIJ heats it up to about 95 to 100 degrees and they drop this ball on it and certify it, but I'm not going to do that out here. So we just use this as a compressible media to put our armor against, and it weighs like 90 pounds, so the armor's not swinging aft in the wind and losing energy transfer because it's not solidly mounted. I think I forgot to mention in the opening that Spartan Armor Systems manufactures the Hercules and R.A.N.G.E in-house, so it's made in the USA. I also put a spreadsheet here at the beginning that I foreshadow kind of all the rounds that I'm going to shoot at it, and then we fill all the data at the end in case anything's ambiguous. Usually when I do a teardown, we know for certain whether a round penetrated or not. Seeing how I have 2 of these plates to mess with, in full transparency, Spartan Armor Systems sent them to me to destroy with no strings attached. We can throw a lot of rounds on this plate. So for our first threat, I always like to go right to the specification for level 4 or RF4. That is only 1 single hit of M2 armor piercing at a very specific velocity. That's 2880 feet per second, plus or minus 30. I'm usually in the plus 50 range, so I have 3 of them right here. I have them loaded into 300 Winchester Magnum because that is how I get that velocity. We have a 24-inch TC compass with our JK Armament rifle kit on y'all. So we will take 3 spaced out shots and then we'll go down and see what we did. I'm going to place this one in the upper left-hand corner. A little fast there. Right where I want it to be though. And then I'm going to put this one to the extreme right of it in the same area. That one was actually under specification, 2845. And then this guy, I'm gonna put in the lower middle. Cool. A test wouldn't be complete without some 5.56 threats. I have our 22-inch TC compass, got a turbo 5.56 on there. So we're gonna see maximum real world velocity. The likelihood of someone engaging you with a bolt gun with the longest barrel possible at 45 feet, probably not gonna happen. So we know if these rounds are stopped out of this barrel, someone with an SBR or 16-inch at this engagement distance would be a no-show for them. So I've got M193, that is a 55 grain full metal jacket. I have M855 or SS109, that's a 62 grain with a little conical steel tip in it. Then I have M855A1, that is the Army's current issue ball round. It is 62 grains as well, has a larger arrowhead that's also harder and a copper core. We'll take those shots last. The M855 second. Make sure I grab all the right ones, and then the M193 first. This is Independence M193. It is, like I said, about 60 degrees outside today, a little bit windy, so we should see hopefully over 3,300 feet per second out of these. This is more so less a test to see how well the strike face holds up to those previous shots. I mean, we're putting a lot of energy on that plate with those 3 M2 AP shots. This one's going to be up by the word Spartan. The velocity. This one will be probably under where it says systems. Now, this one I'll place below the first M2 AP shot. Now the M855, I'll just go right in a line. This last one will be on the extreme right. Let's try to place this towards the edge if possible. Now the A1. Let's see, lower left-hand corner. Saw some sparks down there. Good velocity off that. Number 2 will be right next to where I have the thickness measured. Then this final one will be all the way over in the right-hand corner. All right, let's go see what's left of our plate. The downside about this beautiful cover is it doesn't show our shots very well compared to, say, a polyurethane cover or other types of covers. So I've gone ahead and marked these out as best I can. I will double check all the footage afterwards, and if I've made a mistake, I put a picture in picture and I've highlighted them. But anyways, M2 AP number 1 was right here. Number 2 was right over here. Number 3 was right down here. M193, number 1, number 2, and then number 3. Then M855 was, I think, 1, 2, and 3. Here's that edge shot. Then M855A1 was down here, number 1, 2, and 3. The plate sounds kind of squishy. Place those butts in the comments below. Ruh-oh, Raggy. We have a penetration only on that M193 shot. I came down off camera and checked our M2 AP, and there were no penetrations on that. So this is thoroughly impressive. Normally, like I said, with a level 3 or a level 4 or the RF4 plate, you only got to stop one of these, and this plate stopped 3 of them. Now, I would say that is about 2 inches from that epicenter, but what happens is with a monolithic strike face, which I think they're using, is we degrade and crack the ceramic when we put hits in there, so that one may have been in a compromised area, but otherwise it stopped all those threats. So that means we're going to have to up our game on the second plate here. As far as our back face goes, the biggest will be our M2AP. That one's right around 34 millimeters. This one down here, right around 23. So very controlled back face. 13 on that M855 shot, and that was really close to the edge. That was right about there, so that's an inch from the edge. You know, they say ceramic can't take edge shots. Well, when you have edge-to-edge protection and you use good bonding and backers, you can take edge shots, especially on an advanced threat like M855. Very impressive so far. Like I said, this plate definitely fails the torque test now. I don't think they're using a press backer. We'll have to check when we tear this down. Let's move on to plate number 2. I've saved our goodies for plate number 2. We brought M2AP back out, but this is my 300 Wind Chad, or our Plus P Plus variant. We should see over 3,100 feet per second with this load. I tried to get over 3,300, but I think we're running out of steam with our powder charge and our case capacity and our barrel length. I'm going to place these two on opposing sides of the plate, and then we're going to shoot some 30 cal threats at these. I apologize about any of the wind noise. Blowing my monitor around. So this will be in the upper right of the plate. Oh, 3,300 feet per second. Now, from what I've read, Boron Carbide is really good at breaking up hardened steel, but it tends to have problems with tungsten. So M2AP's got a hardened steel core in it, so I'm very curious on how this plate will handle it. In the past, most level 4 or RF3 plates can only stop at right around 3,150, and that's about the limit. Only, I think, the RMA 1189 has stopped this going as fast as I have it now. So this will be in the bottom right-hand corner. Ooh, oh yeah. So I mentioned tungsten, and I actually have a tungsten core threat to try out against this plate. I have M993 AP. This is the Army's current issue armor piercing round. It is 130 grains with a very pointy tungsten penetrator. In the past, Illumina has excelled at stopping this out of the 16-inch, but I have not found a plate yet that will stop it out of the 22-inch. I do have an X-Sappy plate that I hope to test at some point, because that plate is supposed to stop 3 of those bad mamma jammas. I have a 16-inch CZ557 Urban Counter Sniper. Got the JK Armament rifle kit on there to make the Gulf maintenance guys happy. I'm going to put this on the right side of the plate, hopefully right about in the middle. Good velocity off that. I think for our final 2 threats, we've gone up to our full barrel length in 308, which is our 22-inch TC compass. I have 2 advanced threats. Again, a lot of this stuff is way outside the purview of the NIJ. The NIJ could be considered minimum standards. So I have M80A1, that is the Army's current issue ball round. It's an enhanced performance round over M80 ball. It's got a copper core and a very large arrowhead tip. Then I have M14A1 armor piercing incendiary. That's got a very cute little steel core penetrator, very sharply pointed with lots of incendiary compound. Hopefully we can see it flash on camera. In the past, other level 4 plates have stopped the M80A1, but the API has been tricky. I'll take that shot first. So that one I will place in the lower left-hand corner. Our plate is smoking.
So much fire, so satisfying.
Then the M80A1 right of the plate under systems. I hope that's where I hit. All right. There's going to be carnage when there's giant chunks of the plate right there. Looks like we are using a monolithic strike face. We'll get the measurement on that. We'll get a second. Pardon me. Not wanting to. our 300 wind chad shot number 1, then number 2, then our M993 AP was over here. Our API, which I saw flash and actually catch on fire, over here. And the A1 was somewhere over here. Again, this cover makes it hard to find those shots. Place those bets in the comments below. Oh! No freaking way! Our M2 AP wind chad. No pass-through, but R.A.N.G.E on our M993. That is a problem child. We have a penetration. But our other shots, no pass-through. Now, like the other plate, there's nothing left of this. We'll get this torn apart in a second. I think I'm going to take it home to finish tearing it down because we're losing daylight. But very impressive. Our back face on our wind chad load, if I can get in here, about 36 millimeters. And then down here on this guy, 32. Very impressive. They must be using a very high grade of polyethylene that helps control that back face deformation, because we've seen, you know, softball sized or fist sized holes in this clay. And with our 300 wind chad, being able to stop 2 of those on this plate, plus our other threats, that is pretty darn impressive from this Aries plate, if I do say so myself. Now, for a lot of people's favorite part of these videos, our teardown. This is where we can confirm that they are providing us with edge-to-edge strike face protection, or maybe not, and different types of materials that make up these plates. It's always very interesting when you tear them apart. Here's our very lovely cover that is gone now. Here is our strike face foam protectant, a very, very thick layer of high density foam. This is the kind of foam you want to see on the front of your strike face to protect that from falls. Here is our ceramic. It is boron carbide. There really isn't an easy way to tell this apart from silicon carbide. But this particular B4C looks lighter, and then I don't know if you can see really well on the camera, but just the construction of it kind of looks like a sand dirt-ish material. We measured that at, here's my little piece, 365 thousandths, or for those people across the pond, 9.45 millimeters thick. Breaks rather easily. From what I understand, ceramic has compressive strength. So beyond the foam, there is our ceramic, what's left of it. It looks like it's adhered to this material. It looks like polyethylene, but maybe it's some other type of mat. Would like to see a few more layers of this, maybe extend and cover the front of this, and definitely more adhesive, because I can easily pull that off that. This stuff gets everywhere. I'm wearing the gloves, probably shouldn't breathe it in either. There is our polyethylene. There is the one shot of M193 that made it through. So that was, there is the actual penetrator from the M2 AP course. That was really close to that shot. Bear in mind, this is an RF3 level 4 plate, and you only have to stop the M2 AP, and it's right here. So it's really interesting that this plate took that many shots, and that was the only guy that squeaked through. It doesn't look like these layers are pressed, because I can easily get them apart. But it looks like they're doing a pretty good job at constructing this plate. Just to confirm. Oh, He-Man string. That indeed was our only penetration on plate number 1. Whatever polyethylene they are using on this seems to hold back face really well. Plate number 2 was when we brought out the old 300 wind chad. There's still quite a large sections of ceramic left, but not too much. You can see how cracks propagate throughout the entire strike face. Like I said, these did sound like they cracked when I dropped them on their face to drop test them. I wonder if maybe it's this layer doesn't adhere very well to this and it allowed it to crack. And there's the only penetration from the M993 on the back of this. And that's about all she wrote, folks. Well, Ares, the god of war, didn't do too bad until we stepped up to the evil god killer tungsten core M993 from our 16-inch, and it put him in a body bag. I'm thoroughly impressed with this plate from Spartan Armor Systems. There are very few plates out there that I've tested against our 300 Wind Chad going over 3,200 feet per second that have successfully stopped it and then given us back face that was under the NIJ limit. Now, again, my clay that day was pretty cold, so it's going to underrepresent. The Ares from Spartan Armor System definitely checks a lot of those boxes for desirable body armor. Now, it is rather thick at 1.2 inches, but that's going to provide you with a good amount of back face reduction. But it only weighs 6 pounds. It is multi-curve. It has drop face protectant. And it's attractively priced for a Boron Carbide strike face that extends all the way to the edge. I think it's $700 for a pair. As I mentioned in the teardown, I would like to see better adhesion between our ceramic and our polyethylene layer. Typically a lot more adhesives, or using the Kevlar aramid fibers to, basically make like a pillowcase for that, and then put all kinds of glue on that to bond those together so that the longer you can keep the strike face and the backer together, the more hits that it potentially could take. Well, folks, I'm off like a prom dress. I did a whole bunch of GHD sit-ups yesterday, so the old belly's a little bit sore. But at the end of all my videos, I take a moment to thank all those who help make these possible, because there's a lot that goes into these videos, procuring the armor and all the special ammunition that takes place. So I'd like to thank, number one, my Patreon supporters. Number two is Spartan Armor Systems, again, who in full transparency sent me those Ares plates for me to destroy with no strings attached. And of course, number three is you all for watching. Until next time, I'll catch you at the range.